Where you go, RJ?
Another crazy week. How about you? Yeah. That's about right. Did you have a good weekend? Huh? Did you have a good weekend?
Yeah. Mimi was in the ballet performance, so all weekend long. I watched her. She had a big role.
Oh, really?
And she's leading her group.
She just graduated college, probably.
Oh, that's Emily, the teacher. This is Mimi, the youngest. She's making her presence known.
Which one? Oh, McKinsey. All right, I'll call him. Yeah, I was waiting on that one. It's a minute off. We'll have to fix that. 7:01 now. All right, we'll call this meeting to order. If everyone would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Cadet Mackenzie Coffer. Hold on one second. I'm gonna let Cadet Mackenzie Wofford lead us in the pledge. Where is she at? Come on up and lead us in the pledge, please. Right up here is perfect.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Sorry, I should have alerted you to that. I apologize, Mr. Gardner. All right, may I get a roll call, please?
Alderman Elder? Here. Alderman Campbell?
Here.
Alderman Flores?
Here.
Alderman Galloway?
Here.
Alderman Gardner?
Here.
Here. Alderman President, we have four.
All right, perfect. All right, has everybody had an opportunity to review the minutes of April 18th and April 21st? And if so, are there any amendments necessary or motions to approve?
I move we approve both sets of minutes.
I'm extending this to the 21st.
All right. Motion was made by Alderman Gardner, seconded by Alderman Campbell to approve the minutes of April 18th and April 21st. All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Wonderful. Thank you very much. All right, ceremonial matters. Again, this evening, we have the great pleasure of having a junior ROTC cadet teams in front of us. And we're going to do a little proclamation on their winning of a national championship. It's kind of become a tradition here in Ozark, I guess, to win national championships. So I think what a great thing. Let's start, should we do Mountain Guard or Mountainets first? Ladies first? I thought about doing ladies first. That's the last.
Ladies first, I'll follow the chief's lead. All right. But now next one, come up here. All around. Yeah, just come on. Chief, if you would. All right, we have a proclamation here this evening. Congratulations to the Ozark High School JROTC, Ozark Mountainette Unarmed Drill Team National Champions. Whereas the Board of Aldermen would like to recognize and congratulate the members of the Ozark High School JROTC Ozark Mountainette Drill Team. And whereas the Ozark High School JROTC Ozark Mountainette Drill Team has accomplished the opportunity to travel to Denver, Colorado and participate in the Rocky Mountain Nationals. And whereas the members are to be recommended and as a whole for their achievement in winning of the national championship at the Rocky Mountain Nationals. Whereas I encourage all citizens to congratulate the members, team, coaches, and parents of these young women to continue offering their support and encouragement as these outstanding young citizens continue on their pursuit of sports, academics, and future goals as they advance towards the path to adulthood. They have proven they are individuals striving for and attaining success in their endeavors. They have already started down the path of fulfilling the dreams of multiple accomplishments and multiple national champions, and becoming valuable young leaders in our community. Now therefore, let me resolve that the City of Ozark and its governing body expresses congratulations and appreciation to the athletes, coaches, staff, and parents of the Ozark High School JROTC Ozark Mountain Drill Team. Congratulations, Ozark Mountain Drill Team. Cadets Morgan Curtis, Jocelyn Davison, Lexi Goss, Meredith Hackman, Shell Holbert, Kylie Irby, Madison Miller, Cadet Foley, I'm going to go first.
Yes.
Yes, I apologize. Alina Rosario, Faith Shepherd, Faith Whitmore, Faith, sorry. Summer Williams, Mackenzie Walker, Peyton Walker, and Chief Warrant Officer 3, Jason Allen. Congratulations. Thank you very much. If you guys haven't had a chance to meet staff and elected chance to watch these events before, there's multiple ways to really take a couple moments to walk. I've watched the ladies perform like basketball game. I don't know if it's 6, 7 minutes long, it's a 7, it's a beat, it's strong. And I've watched some people. All right. Congratulations to the Ozark High School Junior ROTC Mountain Guard Drill Team National Champions. Whereas the Board of Aldermen would like to recognize and congratulate members of the Ozark High School JROTC Ozark Mountain Guard Drill Team, and whereas the Ozark High School Junior ROTC Ozark Mountain Guard Drill Team has accomplished the opportunity to travel to Denver, Colorado, and participate in the Rocky Mountain Nationals. And whereas the members are being recognized for their achievements in winning the national championship in the Rocky Mountain Nationals. Whereas I encourage all of our citizens to congratulate members of the team, coaches, and parents of these young men, and continue offering their support and encouragement to outstanding young citizens as they continue to pursue the sports, They have proven that they are already individuals striving forward and success in their endeavors. They have already started down the path of fulfilling the dreams of multiple families. And the values of which is part of it. Now therefore, let me resolve that the city of Ozark, its governing body, expresses congratulations and appreciation to the athletes, coaches, and staff and parents of the Ozark High School Junior ROTC Ozark Mountain Guard. Congratulations. If your dads are no access. This way is her. Gabriel Ellsworth. Alexander Jackson. No relation. But he's so very impressive. Very impressive. William Lumley. Levi May. Jonathan McGee. Nathan Moore. Rylan McGraw. Sean Myers. Isaac Kowalski. And now Is it okay? Yeah, I apologize. Luke Thompson. Brandon DeWitt. Alex Neal. And Chief Officer Prejex Now. Congratulations. Now, this is the second time in 2 years I've been able to do proclamations for multiple national championships, and I hope to be able to do it again next year. No pressure. But you guys are fantastic, and we appreciate that when you travel abroad to these competitions and you represent the city of Ozark, you represent us in a great way, and we appreciate the way you do it. Thank you very much. You guys are invited to stay the rest of the evening as we do have other business items, but if you would like to leave, that is up to you. I just ask that when you leave, if you do choose to leave, you just exit quiet. We're going to go ahead and move on to business. New bills, Mr. Gardner.
I move to put bill 3350 on its first reading. Second.
Motion was made by Alderman Gardner, seconded by Alderman Flores to place bill number 3350 on its first reading by title and description only. All those in favor?
An ordinance authorizing the city to enter into and execute a change order to a contract with Capital Paving and Construction for downtown street and sidewalk improvements.
Mr. Parsons.
All right, good evening, board. What's in front of you this evening is change order number 2 for the downtown street and sidewalk improvements. Basically, everything that you see listed in the change order under item 1, subsections A through E, have to do with the additional work that we added to the square. If you'll remember, when we first bid this project out, we actually did not include any of the interior sidewalk around the square. So the actual historic square where we now have sidewalks and stamped brick concrete, at the very last minute, and I think rightfully so, and I'm so happy we did this, we reached an agreement in 2021 with the county, with an intergovernmental agreement to agree to cost share on that. And I think this would have been a much different project had we not done that. I think the sidewalk in that interior portion of the square looks amazing, along with what the county's done with the gazebo. And then the 4 bulb outs on the outside, I look at those as opportunities for future kiosk, historical markers, all of those things. So to see it come together has been fantastic. But to have a partner in the county and to work on this in a community-minded manner, that's even better. So what you see today is the quantities associated with that. And we want to get this change order in place so that we can get our concrete contractor paid. So any questions regarding this?
Any questions with regards to this bill from the board? Hearing none. Is there anyone in the audience that here to speak on this topic this evening? And also none there. Any other comments? Is this going to require expediting?
Yes.
Okay, I hadn't heard that.
I move we put Bill 3350 on its second reading.
Second.
All right, pardon me. The motion was made by Alderman Gardner, second by Alderman Flores, to place bill number 3350 on its second reading by title and description only. All those in favor?
An ordinance authorizing the city to enter into and execute a change order to a contract with Capital Paving and Construction for downtown street and sidewalk improvements.
All right, any additional comments, questions, or concerns from the board? Hearing none.
We adopt Bill 3350 as ordinance 22-016.
Second.
Motion was made by Alderman Gardner, second by Alderman Flores to adopt bill number 3350 as ordinance number 22-016. May I get a roll call, please?
Alderman Alder. Alderman Flores. Alderman Galloway. Alderman Gardner. Alderman Snyder. Alderman Campbell.
Aye.
We have 6 aye votes, motion carries.
All right, Mr. Galloway.
Your Honor, I move that we place bill number 3351 on its first reading by title only.
Motion was made by Alderman Galloway, seconded by Alderman Campbell to place bill number 3351 on its first reading by title only. All those in favor?
An ordinance authorizing the city to enter into and execute an addendum to the cost share agreement for holiday lighting with the Historic River District and Christian County.
Mr. Childers.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For those of you that do not or are not aware, we get a lot done with cooperative partnerships and IGAs. That's intergovernmental agreements. This is another example of that. In last year, prior to establishing the budget for 2022, the Historic River District approached the city about advancing our Christmas experience in the downtown. Through that conversation, the county was also involved, and it was the original objective of this agreement to purchase multiple different displays for the square. Due to supply shortages, as we are all aware of, and a tight timeline for ordering, the HRD was not able to get all of the displays that it wanted to get. So what we have done is we have come back with this addendum. It was originally budgeted where the city was going to put in $20,000. That was the original agreement. And so were the other entities. But in this particular case, we are reducing that amount. So if you'll look at, I can turn to the page. Right down here at bottom on number 1, you'll see that that has been reduced, where the city is going to put in $5,000, the county will put in $5,000, and the HRD, that's the Historic River District's obligation, will be $10,000. That is the match to the other dollars that are there. So the total amount spent instead of $60,000 is going to be $20,000. So that's why the amendment's coming forward. So we anticipate as we go forward and we get the program back up and running, we may do this again this year so that we can buy more lighting displays as we go forward and continue the relationship. But the amendment tonight is to actually spend less than what we originally planned for.
Any questions, concerns from the board? Mr. Galloway?
This was requested by HRD.
Yes, I believe there's an HRD representative right out here in the audience, and she's probably happy to answer any questions that she can. So, Mr. Mayor, I'll allow that.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you like to hear a little more from the Historic River District?
Sure.
For the record, if you just give your name and
Yes,
address.
Jillian
to the clerk.
Johnson, Historic River District Chair. You're welcome.
Okay, so what's new?
We would like to narrow down our item to 1, Christmas light structure.
All right.
Reduced price.
Okay, that answers that.
Okay. You're welcome.
Are there any other questions? Ms. Alder?
When are we going to get that one?
question. Hopefully by the end of this year, before the holiday season. Yes,
Oh.
they told us 8 weeks. It could change,
Okay.
as we all know.
What is it gonna be?
It is the arch,
Oh,
the Christmas ornament filled arch. It's 16 feet by 13 feet. It's large and in charge.
and then are we still trying for others in the future
Yes,
when they become available?
yes,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
Any other questions from the board? All right, perfect. Thank you. Is there anyone, pardon me, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this bill this evening? Hearing none. No need to expedite this.
Julie and I would probably ask you to. Bringing it forward, what we're gonna need to do that. It's not. I don't know.
My understanding was that they potentially needed this to be approved tonight.
Perfect. No worries. That's why I asked. All right, perfect. Mr. Galloway?
Yes, I move to place bill number 3351 on its second reading by title only.
Motion was made by Alderman Galloway, seconded by Alderman Campbell to place bill number 3351 on the second reading by title only. All those in favor, sorry.
An ordinance authorizing the city to enter into and execute an addendum to the cost share agreement for holiday lighting with the Historic River District in Christian County.
All right. Any additional questions, comments with regards to the bill? Hearing none, Mr. Galloway?
No, I move that we enact bill number 3351 as ordinance number 22-017.
Motion was made by Alderman Galloway, seconded by Alderman Campbell to enact bill number 3351 as ordinance number 22-017. May I get a roll call vote, please?
Alderman Flores.
Aye.
Alderman Alder. Alderman Gardner. Alderman Galloway. Alderman Campbell.
Aye.
Alderman Snyder. We have 6 aye votes, motion carries.
Mr. Gardner?
Move with the bill 3352 on its first reading.
Second.
Motion was made by Alderman Gardner, seconded by Alderman Flores to place bill number 3352 on its first reading by title and description only. All those in favor?
An ordinance authorizing the city to enter into and execute an intergovernmental cooperative agreement with the Ozark Special Road District.
Mr. Parsons?
Okay, due to the difficulty of displaying this map, as you know, our town is very north-south, and it doesn't show up very well on the horizontal screen. And I am going to pull up. So what we've identified on the screen are the actual changes that have been made. And I want to explain a little bit about this. Again, this is a cooperative agreement, an IGA, where we have worked with our partners in the Ozark Special Road District. They own and maintain about 110 miles of very critical roadways in this area, most of which are secondary arterials or higher in their roadway classifications. As we continue to evolve as a city, to grow as a city, and logistics come into play, maintenance issues come into play, growth comes into play. And if you remember, there was a couple meetings back, we walked through each one of these changes, and we tried to explain, but I know that we've got a new member on the board, so I want to take the time to explain what those changes are. So I'm going to start in the south. The old map had us essentially maintaining to about where you see this white dot on that. And then from that point south, Ozark Special Road took over the operations and maintenance of that. We now have an agreement in place, and something that you'll hear at the next board meeting. Developer has become interested in this area. It is annexed into the area. We have a good, solid plan for roadway improvements in that area. So I want to make it clear that we're not inheriting a liability. It's something that's going to be improved as part of the TDD. So that ownership right there where we've circled that will be switched from Ozark Special Roads to the city because of those reasons. As we move to the north, this one was just logistics. You can see that small little circle on Oak Street and 17th, where Oak Street turns into 17th, I should say. There was a small portion there where we literally have to plow just a little bit. And OSRD came to us and said, why is this there? And honestly, none of us knew. It was past generations of the IGA. This initiated in 2011. So that's just one of those housework, if you will, doing a little cleanup. The next one is the area over by the mill. After we did some research, as you know, with this area developing and the maintenance of that bridge and the associated maintenance deed that we found from MoDOT, we found that it is in our best interest as the city to maintain and operate this portion of the road due to several factors. So due to A, it was deeded to us, and B, we've got the governor's cost share in that area, and we know that improvements are going to be made. So again, we're not accepting a liability, we're accepting what will be an improvement, and it is in the heart of our CBD, so it does make sense for us to own and maintain. The next area, let's go over to the sewer plant. We are the only ones, I shouldn't say that. We are 90% of the traffic that goes down that road. If you're going down that road, you're either going to church or you're going to treat sewer. So that traffic only we see maybe on Wednesdays and Sundays, but other than that, and that's our vehicles. And by vehicles, I mean large tankers that have put a lot of weight on that road. And that should be our obligation to own and maintain. So OSRD agreed with that. And then finally, Parkview is that small little section there that's up in what the area that we call Spring Valley. That area was, again, one little section that was maintained by the city, and they go through there and they maintain the roads up in that valley. And it made no sense for us to maintain that portion, but they literally maintain portions on both the east and the west and the north of that. So logistics came into play there as well. As you go to the north. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So on my map that I've got in front of me here, hopefully I'm looking at the right place. There's that little hook that goes off to the right of that green circle and then down.
Yes. So
it kind of, I mean, it appears to me that would make sense for OSRD to do that one also.
Yeah, the only thing that kept us from doing that, Alderman Campbell, was the tightness of the right-of-way, the way that's developed in an L shape. Our vehicles have a little bit easier access into there. There's really not a approved turnaround in there like you'd see on a new subdivision. Okay. They asked us and we agreed to keep that. So okay. That's something that we need to go back with them. I should state also that what you're seeing today was presented to OSRD at their last monthly meeting, and they did approve this unanimously. Okay. But if that's something, that's what we're here to talk about.
No, so, I don't have a problem with it. I was just curious as to the reason.
It's a weird little appendage that's difficult and tight turning radiuses, and that's just what we came up with.
Okay,
so
that makes sense.
And then further to the north, I think we've about got all the changes. Yeah, that's it for the road maintenance map. So you'll see this in your total exhibit as Exhibit C. I believe. Is that right? Is that what everybody's looking at? We changed those exhibits a little bit. Yeah, okay. Okay. Next, we will cover B. Sorry, I went out of order there a little bit. Next, we'll cover B. This is the snow removal map. That's it. Okay, so again, this came down to roadway maintenance and us trying to best serve the citizens. A lot of this came down to also the size of the right of way. OSRD uses a larger truck and a larger plow system because they do have primarily secondary arterials. We had some areas that they were in that we had no business being in. And we had some areas that it made complete sense for us to be in. So in this case, we'll start from north to south. The area up by Dearborn Commercial, the area that's developing very rapidly now with culverts, big old tires. They were already making a loop to service those roads for the Christian County Ambulance Department. And now the fire department has a new facility out there on North 25th. So it made sense for them when they're clearing those roads to treat that as a circle. When you're out plowing with these larger vehicles, you try to keep moving. You don't want to have to stop, turn around, turn in anywhere, and you usually end up hitting your plow with something, and then we owe somebody a mailbox. So that was an area that we felt like it was best for them to maintain. As you work your way to the east of that, is another section up by James River Church that they have complete maintenance all around. We just say, go ahead and take that so you can squeeze, so you again make a circular route through there and come out on the Farmers Branch, which is their road as well. Go further to the south, you'll see an area that gets attention every time it snows or sleets. It's the Pinecrest Subdivision. And I think we came up with a workable solution. I think it's, again, us showing partnerships with OSRD. This is another neighborhood that has very tight turning radiuses, and it's difficult for them to get in. This agreement would solidify the fact that we only are in charge of snow removal. We are not in charge of maintenance. But what this does is it provides the citizens with a much needed service in that area. I know that there's a lot of people on this board that have received calls from individuals in that area. And I hope that that minimizes some of those calls. And I hope we provide a better service to those in what essentially amounts to no man's land right now. This takes care of that aspect and it provides them with a much needed service. And if you've seen the topography in that area, it needs to be plowed. That's a hilly area that if you don't get the snow off the roads or at least treat them, you're in trouble. So I think everything with that, again, they approved this map unanimously. As I said, we went through these kind of in detail in a breakfast meeting, but I wanted to do this again. I think in the spirit of partnership and trying to get this done, we work well with OSRD. During storm events, we are calling each other left and right. Can you take this? Can you take that? And that's really a byproduct. This map is a byproduct of those conversations. You get experience every time you're in the truck pushing snow. And there's a lot of roads between the two of us. We have almost 200 miles. And you start thinking about pushing snow on 200 miles of roads. You want to be efficient, I guess is what it comes down to. And we have, and if you look back, and we'll do this at the end of the year, at the amount of overtime that we've cut down and expenditures while we're on the roadways, our snow removal routes and route planning has cut down on labor tremendously. We can't do anything about product. We still need that salt on each of those roads, but our hours spent in the truck have come down by roughly 40%. Which is a testament to the fact that we're doing it much more efficiently. So, as I always say, pray for no snow, but we have a plan if it does. But those are the, I do not need this expedited tonight. This is something for you all to look at. It's something for you to think about, but I do think it's in the best interest of both parties. And with that, I'll take any questions regarding this agreement.
All right. Any questions from the board? All right. Is there anyone in the audience that's here to speak on this bill this evening? Hearing no comments, this bill will be held over to the next legislative session. Second reading of bills, Mr. Galloway.
Your Honor, I move that we place bill number 3347 on the second reading by title.
Motion was made by Alderman Galloway, and seconded by Alderman Campbell. Place bill number 3347 on the second reading by title and description only. All those in favor?
An ordinance of the city of Ozark, Missouri, approving 5 reappointments to the Highway J and 17th Street Community Improvement District Board of Directors.
All right. Any comments, questions, or concerns with regards to this bill? Hearing none, Mr. Galloway.
Your Honor, I move that we enact bill number 3347 as ordinance number 22-018.
Motion was made by Alderman Galloway, second by Alderman Campbell to enact bill number 3347 as ordinance number 22-018. May I get a roll call, please?
Alderman Galloway.
Aye.
Alderman Flores.
Aye.
Alderman Snyder. Alderman Campbell.
Aye.
Alderman Gardner. Alderman Alder. We have 6 aye votes. Motion carries.
All right. Mr. Gardner. Motion was made by Alderman Gardner, seconded by Alderman Flores to place bill number 3348 on its second and final reading. All those in favor?
An ordinance authorizing the city to enter into and execute a contract with Centris Corporation for the purchase of a decanter, centrifuge, and dewatering equipment.
All right. I think we had a great presentation put forward to us at the last meeting about this. It answered a lot of questions that I had. Does anybody else have any additional questions or comments since that first reading? All right. Yes, sir.
I'm just curious. I mean, I think we should have the best, but if a piece of equipment that's expensive goes down, how long is it going to take to get that piece of equipment back up? And how long is it going to take to get that particular part for that particular piece of equipment here? That's my concern.
Mr. Parsons?
Yeah, that was one of the reasons that Centrisis was picked in this actual presentation that we gave to you. Their availability to service and to have basically replacement parts in place within sometimes hours, sometimes days. But we do have a backup system. We still have essentially what we call our belt press that we can keep up with the production. Where right now we're using it. We're going to keep those mechanisms in place so that if something does go down, and inevitably it will, eventually what we'd like to do in terms of maintenance is put another one of these same units, kind of like what we talked about last time, having these same units so that we can integrate the replacement parts out at our new plant, because our new plant is getting ready to see a drastic increase in flow. So having that availability, the availability to swap those bowls, which are traditionally the part that fails. That's where the fatal flaw occurs, just simply because of the nature of this machine, the G-force that this thing spins at to dewater this. And then the other thing that really was appealing to us was the warranty. I guess to answer your question, I don't want to sound like I'm not answering your question. I don't have an exact timeline, but what the assurances that we got by calling multiple people on these references was that they act quickly and they get on site immediately and they help you get through the storm. And to us, that means so much, because when it comes down to it, it's all hands on deck. And the last thing we want is any type of environmental disaster that could shed light on us and have DNR show up or EPA show up. We have great relationships with those people. So we feel like we're not only getting the best, but we're also getting the best service. And I wish I could give you a more definitive answer, but it really comes down to the critical problem that occurs, when that occurs, and what they have. But they're the closest ones to us, and they service not just theirs. That's the beauty of this. This company, which I think Greg told you, started their business because they were servicing so many other decanters. And they said, aha, we're seeing where this is failing and we can do it better. And that was interesting to us. And when talking with Springfield and some of these other communities, they said, yes, absolutely. We went after their hydraulic drives because that was the part that failed, and they make a superior part to replace that with. So I hope that helps answer a little.
It does. Like I said, when you spend that kind of money, you just want to make sure that when you reach out and you try to, latch onto a product, that product is going to work. And if it goes into failure mode, it can be repaired, because I know from experience that bigger isn't always better, but this, right. I don't think this is the case that time.
Right.
But I want to make sure that if we do have a failure, that they can literally go to the shelf, pull that part off, whatever you need, get someone down here and fix. That's my biggest concern. I don't want it to go stagnant because we're waiting 4 or 5 months for a piece of equipment to, be repaired. That's my biggest concern.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think it comes down to a really rigid preventative maintenance program as well. Seeing those problems, you can kind of tip their hand a little bit when those problems are occurring, and getting ahead of that, planning for that maintenance properly.
Yeah, and I don't mean to sound mean. I just want to make sure it's going to be the right thing to do.
This is the first time I've ever come to this board and said, let's buy the best, because typically we can handle taking the lowest qualified bidder. And I, just to be honest with you, I was very nervous about this. I invited a few people out to talk because I value the tax dollars that we spend on behalf of the citizens. And as a taxpayer myself, I don't want to see spending just because it's the best and brightest and most shiny. I want to spend because it's the best and it provides the best product for the citizens.
I respect that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Mr. Campbell.
I think that was good, what the item that David brought up, or Alderman Snyder brought up. But I want to highlight something that Jeremy just said, that all utilities need. I know I've built a few power plants, or helped build a few power plants in my life. And the big thing with power plants is electric generating stations. I'm talking about electric power plants. Big thing with them is having redundancy. I know he was talking about getting it fixed quickly, but you touched on the redundancy of having, maybe someday have 2 of those here,
right,
and do what we can there. That happens in every utility. We do it with the water. We loop systems, so you can shut down one small area to fix a leak without shutting down half the city or whatever it might be. And I think that's the important thing to remember on this, is just the redundancy part. And maybe a year or 2 or 3 or 4, I don't know, in the future, we're probably going to end up going that route, I think.
Absolutely.
So there.
All right. Any additional questions, comments with regards to this bill? Hearing none, Mr. Gardner.
I move we adopt bill 3348 or 22019.
Second.
Motion was made by Alderman Gardner, second by Alderman Flores, to adopt bill number 3348 as ordinance number 22-019. May I get a roll call vote, please?
Yes, Alderman Gardner.
Aye.
Alderman Snyder.
Aye.
Alderman Flores.
Aye.
Alderman Galloway.
Aye.
Alderman Alder. Alderman Campbell.
Aye.
We have 6 aye votes, motion carries.
All right. Report of officers, boards, and committees. Mr. Childers.
Something you guys all know, this weekend on Saturday is the annual event for the chamber, and most of you will probably be there. I hope you are. The city actually sponsors the business of the year, and so that's a pretty exciting thing. We support our businesses wholeheartedly in this town, and so supporting the business of the year is something that we like to do. So hope to see you all there, and that's all I have.
All right, wonderful. Not on the agenda this evening, but Jane, would you like to speak? Yes, come forward, please.
You did my thunder.
Jane is a lot like me. We never turned down a good opportunity to be heard, so. go right
Good
ahead.
evening and welcome, new Alderman. I'm Jane Paul, the Executive Director for the Ozark Chamber, and I enjoy coming to these every other week meetings. I learn so much, and I'm kind of a dork when it comes to that. But yes, I want to invite you this Saturday, May 7th, to our Ozark Community Awards Banquet. We do this event in conjunction with the Finley River Community Foundation. As you all probably know, they are responsible for over 200 silent auction items. We have this year, I believe, 8 live auction items. We have a $500 jackpot raffle. We have a 50-50, remember the heads or tails game. And we also have raffle baskets that you can put your tickets in after you gamble. Yes, we gamble. We have casino games. We have Texas Hold'em, roulette, blackjack. So it's a lot of fun. And I have to say that this time, which it was supposed to have been, I believe, the end of January, it was postponed, but we have 42 tables versus 33, I think, in last June. So we've had such a response from the community that I'm just grateful that we have so many people that want to show up and have some fun. And I want to thank the City of Ozark for being the sponsor of Business of the Year. In fact, I just emailed you today because I need to know who the presenter is going to be. Yes. And I want to thank Heather Alder, who is one of our sponsors. She's been doing this for several years on her own, out of her own pocket. Don't know how many people actually know that, but she started out years ago with Post and a couple of other wine suppliers, and they just decided, nah, we're not. So she didn't care. She's like, okay, I'll take it over. So it's way over $1,000 out of her pocket. We also have Heart of America, who provides our beer free of charge. I believe this weekend they've got 5 or 6 other events that are going on. So they're very committed to this part of the state. And we've got 15 cases coming. And I need volunteers, honest engine. Anybody that can help set up.
Yes, volunteers to drink.
No, oh yeah. Well, if you help take down, there's always, none of it ever gets back out the door. But yeah, we do need help setting up. I believe the rental stuff's coming at 3:00 on Friday. So 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6. You can give us an hour of your time. We always need people to fold napkins if you can't handle tables and tablecloths. But Janelle, who's our operations manager, she did send out a mass email to the board and to most of the chamber members, if I'm not mistaken. So you might look out for that email. I believe it went out maybe today. We also have a new staff member with the chamber. Her name is Rachel Salveter, and she is our marketing and events coordinator, and she's hit the ground running. She's helping with the banquet, which most of it was already prepared or are in the works, but she's doing the golf tournament, which is Monday the 9th. How many of you guys are going to play, you gals? Anybody? No, you're not going to raise your hand? You're not raising your hand? So I've given her a lot more responsibility because this is her job, and she's trying to get acclimated to this part of the country. Let's just put it mildly, okay? Also, real quickly, we just finished our total resource campaign, which I know most of you all know what it is. It's a 5 to 6 week period that we reach out to businesses to have sponsorships for chamber events. We usually do that in the fall, but it did not get done. So we started at March the 21st. We did a 5 instead of a 6 week period. And we exceeded our goal, which I'm thankful. I mentioned this, I think, at the GAO, but we've even exceeded the exceeded that I mentioned. So we had a great group of our volunteers, sold several new memberships. Some of them were the Enrich and the Impact, which are our upper ones. And we ended up doing almost $78,000, and our goal was 70. So here again, it's the community, like you talk about. It's not me. It's not the volunteers. I mean, they do the ask, but it's the community that has stepped up for Ozark. We have a few people in the other towns, but they don't count. It is Ozark. We have such a fantastic community here, not only with our schools and our city and our chamber, but just the people in general that love this community and love our roads despite all your concerns and worries. You know. But yeah, I wanted to bring up those two those two comments to let you all know how happy we are, how the chamber has really changed in the last 3 months. And a lot of it is you all knowing that we're there for you all. And so thank you very much. And we'll see you Saturday, I hope. It's we have a 6-foot horse that you're gonna, not real, that you're gonna see when you come in. And try to dress for, like, if you're going to the races or to the Derby. I'm just gonna go get a little headband thing with a flower on it, but because that's kind of me, but just dress up if you want, or come casual and be prepared to help set up and take down if you can. So set up is Friday at 3 o'clock. You can stay as long as you want. I've got a group of students from the school. Casey Owens put me in touch with them, so we hopefully will get them to help set up. Of course, they can't take down because of the liquor, but okay. Any questions?
Oh, yes.
Oh, and yes, of course, Mr. Campbell, how are you?
I'm good. As probably most people in here know, I was born and raised in Kentucky. I'm glad to see that this happened to coincide with the Kentucky Derby, it's Derby Day. And so I'm going to ask you a question in a minute, but
We named the horse Secretariat, okay?
First off, I'll be excited to see all the women in their fancy hats and stuff like that, like they do at the Kentucky Derby. And I didn't hear you say anything about mint juleps. Are we going to have mint juleps?
Yes, well, sort of.
Okay.
Mules, do you know what a mule is? You younger people?
A mule?
Yes. We have, Walmart is our VIP sponsor. And if you are, which you all are, we have a VIP area where we're going to have our own bartender. Heather is doing a charcuterie tray or her tray of cheeses and meats. And we will have a specialty drink for the VIP people. We've got 54 out of the 300 and some odd that are coming that will be part of that VIP. So we're going to squeeze it into a corner as best we can. It'll probably be up by the stage. If you're looking at the stage, it'll be on the left-hand side, or maybe that first entrance into the gym, which we're going to have that as check-in, and you'll come all the way back around. But that, yes. But the problem is we don't have a liquor license, so we have to use like a Heather Alder with her bartenders, but they're really not, I know they educational wise and mentally, they're prepared to do mixed drinks, but we had to come up with some kind of a drink that didn't require a mixed type drink.
Okay.
So it's going to probably have, what we say, bourbon, I think is what they're doing. We've got 3 people on the committee taking care of that, but
So-
it probably won't be a mint julep just because of the difficulty of a mixed drink.
But if we choose, we can identify it as a mint julep.
After 2 of you won't care. Now, are you over 21? Just
Yeah.
a titch. You will be getting a special bracelet that says you're over 21. All of you all will. So you can't get a drink without that, even from Heather or the beer. We've decided that's pretty important this year. So yes, we do have a specialty drink. So we'll see it. Are you coming? Are you one of the tables of 8? Okay, all right, sounds good.
Mr. Gardner.
I just have one more question for you, Jane. Who are what group or who are the people that go to that special area that can go? Did you say that? Are they
No, I didn't.
certain sponsors, certain level of sponsorships? Or?
Yes, it's Our Best Bank is our presenting sponsor. We have we have 3 gold sponsors: Appleby, Healy, Construct, and I forget the next one. Silver sponsors, we have 4 of those. And then all the VIP, the Chamber Star, the Business of the Year sponsorship. Those are the people. So like Our Best has 16 tickets. You know, they've got 2 tables. You all have 2 or 3. I forget. But yeah, it's the gold, the silver, the presenting, and all the specialty sponsorships that get to come. So, and we want you to come. And I know you want to mingle with us low life people, you know, but go on over there and we'll have high top tables to stand around, and of course things to eat. So it should be nice, right? We're working on that, aren't we, Heather? She's on my committee, so it's been a big help. So, okay, anything else?
No, I think that's it. No other questions from the board?
What time does it start?
5:15 is check-in. She'll have the wine at 4 o'clock, just so you know.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you for everything that you're doing, helping the chamber. All right, miscellaneous comments by the board and or the mayor. Any member of the Board of Aldermen have any comments? Go right ahead, sir.
Whenever we were having the proclamations at the
Yes, sir.
beginning of the meeting, I'm just amazed that our kids do so good at that. I mean, it seems like all the time the JROTC is ranking high in the nation on things like that. I don't comprehend why.
I think they've built a culture with that program over the years. And you know, that program started in, I think it was 94. And I was an unpaid assistant instructor to Major Bud Roderick and First Sergeant Tom Cantor. And they started that program with a lot of community input. Several people with the Civil Air Patrol helped grow that program. And then Terry Thompson come in, who was a first sergeant, and Master Sergeant Ronnie White came in, Colonel McConnell come in, and they've just capitalized and built it. We do have a little bit of an advantage. We have a program at the junior high called Leadership in Action, and Master Sergeant Nicola Mazingo runs that program. So she's preparing these kids in 7th and 8th grade to step up into the high school program. And a lot of schools don't have that. They just go in their freshman year, they sign up for junior ROTC, but we kind of have that lead-in program, which really helps. And when you have, I think you can look at schools like Lamar and Webb City who have spectacular football programs, and the kids, that's all they can think about is, you know, being on that football team one day. I think we kind of have something similar here, where the youth are looking and they're seeing there's this opportunity to go be part of a program that's won. I think the rifle team has won 6 or 7 national championships since they started. The drill team has won several national championships. Now the Raider program, in only their 5th year, they've won 2 national championships. People want to be part of a winning program, and I think that's what's happened. And I think it's spectacular to see the amount of effort that these kids put in. You know, the youth of America, and me having 3 kids in that age group, we kind of like, oh, they're lazy, they don't want to work hard, they'd rather play video games or look at their phones, and that may be true to an extent with some kids, but these kids, even they may even play some video games, but at 5 o'clock in the morning they're in the gym practicing, when most students are still at home in bed. So their amount of dedication and commitment to their sport is unparalleled, I think. And some of these kids, Noah Atchison, who wasn't here this evening, he's a Raider and he's a drill team member. So he's double dipping in these activities, as well as several other kids are doing. It's just, I think it's fantastic. They're going into different areas of the country and representing Ozark. And there are other schools that when they see Ozark's going to be there, they dread it because they know they can't win. And if you've seen pictures on social media over the years, the teams will go to a competition and they'll bring home 20 trophies, because like the drill team, they'll have the armed regulation and the unarmed regulation, and they'll have single cadet. Cadet Jackson had taken 2nd place in the nationals for being solo in rifle. It's quite impressive to watch it. But they have numerous different areas of expertise, and they win all these trophies. The school can't house them, so every year at the end of the year, they basically pass trophies out for kids to take home as a keepsake for their years in the program. It's quite amazing to me. Anyway, I'll go off my soapbox. It all started with me. Basically, it all started with me, and it just got better from there. It had to go up. It had to go up. That's the only way. So, all right. Any other questions, comments, concerns from the board? Hearing none, I entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Galloway and Miss Alder, they get in at the end there. All right. All those in favor of adjournment? All right. We'll see you all Saturday evening. Oh, yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. I'm not sure which model.
Yeah.
This one is I got.